Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Saturday, 2nd of November 2024. This day is famous for All Souls Day. In Roman Catholicism, November 2nd commemorates all faithfully departed souls who are believed to be in purgatory because they died with the guilt of lesser sins on their souls. From the Indian history point of view, Kerala's glorious festival, Parumala Perunal, is one of the most well-known celebrations in India evergreen state. Parumala Perunal Kerala is celebrated that brings Kerala to halt, starting the newspaper with the world news, including United States efforts for peace between Israel and Hezbollah, all shot ahead of presidential election. Israel says it killed one of the last senior officials of Hamas in Gaza. United States urges Lebanon to declare a unilateral ceasefire with Israel amid tensions with Hezbollah. Report: Kamala Harris, you are fired. Thunders Trump as the race for White House remains razor tight. Petty tyrant, unstable, obsessed with revenge. Kamala Harris on Donald Trump in closing speech. Israeli airstrike escalates in Gaza and Lebanon amid a stalled United States-led peace efforts. Starting in the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that India-United States Joint Special Forces exercise to be held from November 2nd, 2022 in Idaho. A pair of the Indian Air Force a 2000 takeoff during the Indo-United States Joint Air Force exercise Scope India 4 at the Air Force Station Gwalior on February 25, 2004. The 15th edition of India-United States Joint Special Force exercise will enable the two sides to share their best practices and experiences for conduct of joint special force operations. A military exercise between the Special Forces of India and the United States is set to commence from Saturday in Idaho, seeking to enhance combined capabilities in executing joint special forces operations in desert and semi-desert environment and develop interoperability. An Indian Army contingent depart on Friday to take part in the exercise Vajra Prahar. The Defense Ministry said the 15th edition of India-United States Joint Special Force exercise will enable the two sides to share their best practices and experiences for conduct of joint special force operation. The 15th edition of India-United States Joint Special Force exercise will enable the two sides to share their best practices and experiences for conduct of joint special force operations. It will facilitate developing interoperability, bonhomie, and camaraderie between soldiers of both countries, the Defense Ministry said in a statement. Exercise Vajra Prahar is scheduled to be conducted from November 2nd to 22 at the Orchard Combat Training Center in Idaho, in the United States. The previous edition of the exercise was conducted at Omoroi, Meghalaya in December 2023. This will be second exercise of the year between the Indian Army and the United States Army, the previous being exercise Yudh Abhyas conducted in Rajasthan in September. Contingents of both the countries taking part in the joint exercise will comprise 45 personnel each, the statement said. The Indian Army contingent will be represented by the Special Forces units, while the United States Army contingent will be represented by the United States Army Special Forces, also known as the Green Berets. The aim of this exercise is to promote military cooperation between India and the United States through the enhancement of interoperability, jointness, and mutual exchange of special operations tactics, the statement said. The exercise will enhance combined capabilities in executing joint special forces operations in the desert and semi-desert environment with a focus on a high degree of physical fitness, joint planning, and joint tactical drills. Morning Digest: companies from Delhi, Hyderabad, and Bengaluru led a list of Indian entities facing United States sanctions. Rohit Balsazar of high fashion dies at age 63, and most security personnel killed. Keep Vigil after two persons of Madhya Pradesh were shot by militants in Jammu and Kashmir's Badgaam district Friday, November 1st, 2024. Companies from Delhi, Hyderabad, Bengaluru led a list of Indian entities facing United States sanctions. From the neighborhoods of Delhi and Uttar Pradesh and brought to Bengaluru and Hyderabad, the individuals and entities facing United States sanctions are scattered across the country. Rohit Balsazar of high fashion dies at 63. Rohit Bal, one of the India's most celebrated fashion designers, died at on Friday, November 1st, 2024, at the South Delhi Hospital following a heart attack. Fashion Design Council of India (FDCI) President Sunil Sethi said he was 63. Two local injured after being shot at a Kashmir. Suspected militants fired upon and injured two non-local workers in the central Kashmir's Budgam on Friday evening, November 1st, 2024. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper stated that India pushes for two-state solution at a meeting hosted by Saudi Arabia. New Delhi was represented at the meeting hosted by Saudi Arabia on October 30 to 31st by the Indian ambassador Riyadh Suhail Khan. New Delhi, India pushes for the ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict and a dialogue and diplomacy aimed at finding a two-state solution at the first meeting in the Riyadh of Global Alliance to press for establishment of Palestinian state. India was represented at the meeting hosted by Saudi Arabia on October 30 to 31st by Ambassador to Riyadh Suhail Khan. Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan described the meeting as the first step among the several steps with the participation of 90 countries. The Indian envoy, while attending the meeting of the Global Alliance for the implementation of the two-state solution, reiterated India's strong support for ceasefire, de-escalation, and dialogue and diplomacy leading to two-state solution. The Indian embassy said in a post on the X. Prime Minister Modi targets Congress over the Mallikarjun Kharge's soap's remarks. On Thursday, Kharge had underscored the importance of fiscal responsibility, stating that if the government failed to deliver on its commitments, it could result in a bad reputation and hardships for the community. A comment by Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on the pre-poll soap sparked controversy on Friday, with the Prime Minister and the Modi launching a fiery attack and saying the opposition party was badly exposed for making unreal promises, and the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) demanding an apology ahead of the Maharashtra elections. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, GST recorded second highest collection at the rupees 1.87 lakh crore in October month on festive sales compliance measures. Sluggishness in collection on imports, no growth in the compensations, just more hardcore areas of concern. The highest ever gross GST collection was seen in the April month of 2024, that is rupees 2.10 lakh crore. Tunnel boring machines for India delayed. German firm flags bottleneck at Chinese customers. Heron Nech says extraordinary circumstances in the custom clearance. Due to contractual agreements with all our customers, we ask for your understanding that we will not make any statements about the specific project delivery scopes or the status of the individual machines, Heron said in response to the queries. German mechanized tunneling major Henry Nech, which was at the center of the recent conversation between the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Germany's Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck, has said it has been facing extraordinary circumstances with the Chinese customs clearance in delivery of tunnel boring machines (TBMs) to India from China. This, the company said, is hampering its efforts to deliver the TBMs to its Indian customers. For several months now, we have been observing extraordinary circumstances in the customs clearance process for machines to be delivered from China to India. These are hindering us from fulfilling our delivery obligations as expected, and in some cases entirely. A spokesperson for Heron Nech said in a statement in response to queries from the Indian Express. Gold loan outstanding banks rises 43.4% in the first half of financial year 2025. Gold loan growth in 2022-23 was just 14.6% according to the Reserve Bank of India report. Banks have reported a steep 43.4% rise in gold loan disbursements the first 6 months, April and September of the current financial year 2024-2025 or financial year 2025, amid the sustained rally in a gold prices and certain efficiencies in the loan segment flagged by the Reserve Bank of India recently. The sudden jump in the gold loan is forced by the Reserve Bank of India to ask the financiers to review policies, processes, and practices. Now going towards science and tech, we have the Nilgiris as shared wilderness. 14 monarch, the Nilgiritargus halocreus, is endemic to the Western Ghats. They are master climbers, and when threatened, will make their way up near vertical cliff faces where the predators cannot reach them. Exactly 20 years ago, in the summer of 2004, I fell in love again, first with the tree, then with the mountain, and eventually with the whole biosphere. On an exploratory journey in Kunur, Tamil Nadu, my husband and I landed up in the beautiful colonial bungalow with an enormous blue gum eucalyptus at the entrance. Until that moment, I had thought of a species as a foreign, as invasive, as water greedy. Its negative levels disappeared as I gazed in astonishment at the girth of this gate, its ghostly branches, and its perfectly balanced canopy. Soon we had a second home and the Nilgiris, and your commitment to the conservation of this remarkable ecozone. Zeroing in on methane diplomacy at the conference of Party 29. Methane may be a side issue in the overall conference of Party 29 agenda, but it presents a significant opportunity for India to fast-track its efforts in reducing the methane emissions. Baku, Azerbaijan, November 11 to 22, 2024. The Baku meet is an opportunity for India to fast-track its efforts in reducing methane emissions. From November 11 to 22, 2024, world leaders will gather in Baku, Azerbaijan for the 29th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. Dubbed the Finance Conference of Party, representatives from every country will, for the most time in 15 years, set a new global climate finance goal known as the New Collective Quantified Goal. NCQG. The host country, Azerbaijan, has put forward an action agenda which includes pledges to increase the battery storage capacity sixfold, dramatically expand electricity networks, and cut methane emissions from organic waste. India's first analog space mission to simulate extraterrestrial conditions on Mars and the Moon kicks off. India's first Mars and Moon analog mission at Leh in Ladakh to stimulate life in an interplanetary habitat has been inaugurated. Indian Space Research Organization ISRO, Akash Space Studio Private Limited, the University of Ladakh, IIT Bombay, and the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council have collaborated in this endeavor. Collaborative effort. ISRO on Friday posted on X, formerly Twitter, India's first analog space mission kicks off in Leh, a collaborative effort by Human Space Flight Center, ISRO Akash Space Studio, University of Ladakh, IIT Bombay, and supported by the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. This mission will simulate a life in an interplanetary habitat to tackle the challenges of the base station beyond the Earth. Astha Kacha, founder of Akash Space Studio Private Limited, said this mission is designed to simulate extraterrestrial conditions on Mars and the Moon, enabling India to enhance its human spaceflight capabilities. According to Akash Space Studio, the airlock and EVA zone is a dedicated space for preparing for EVA. While maintaining habitat integrity, the circadian lighting system simulates natural daylight cycles to support astronauts' sleep-wake patterns. The hydroponics and food preparation area supports sustainability and fresh food production. The stand-alone power systems utilize renewable energy to ensure uninterrupted power, and the environment monitoring system tracks habitat conditions to support optimal functioning. Why Ladakh was chosen, Space Studio said that Ladakh was chosen for its unique environmental characteristics which closely mirror those of Mars and the Moon. The diurnal shifts from the 15 degrees Celsius to minus 10 degrees Celsius, which simulate the thermal challenges of the extraterrestrial environments, enabling the testing of the habitat's thermal insulation. Situated over the 3,500 meters above the sea level, Ladakh's oxygen level are only 40% of the sea level, allowing researchers to test the life support systems for low pressure conditions similar to Mars, Space Studio said. It further said that the region's sandy rocky soil resembles Martian and lunar regolith, ideal for research on rover mobility and in-situ resource utilization. India spells out finance needs for biodiversity conservation. Cesar Leona, member of the European Parliament, chair of the Delegation Conference of Party 16 of the EP Committee on Environment, Public Health and Food Safety. India officials at the convention in Colombia, Conference of Party 16, says international finance will be necessary to meet the goals. India expects to spend around rupees 81,664 crore from 2025-2030 financial year on biodiversity and conservation. From 2018 to 2022 financial year, India spent rupees 32,207 crore, and to meet the higher financing requirements would require funds from the sources beyond routine government expenditure. The country stated in its updated submission at the ongoing 16th edition of the Convention on Biological Diversity (CBD) in the Colombia on Conference of Party 16. Expenditure from 2018 to 2022 was purely that expended by the center as allocations to various ministries or statutory bodies for the conservation and biodiversity linked programs. Improving the language of biodiversity conservation, Indian officials at the conference have said international finance will be necessary to meet these goals. I would like to mention that it is necessary to provide a means of implementation, including financial resources, as laid down in Target 19 of the KMGBDF, as well as from DSI for implementation of the NBSAP. Kriti Vardhan Singh, Minister of the State Environment, said in a statement at the convention. The two-week convention is expected to conclude on November 1st. Colombia. A lot of ground needs to be covered in providing easily accessible means of implementation. That is the financial resources, technology, and capacity building needs with the required speed, scope, and scale. The Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework (KMGBF). Once again, Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework (KMGBF) refers to the biodiversity goals previously agreed upon by countries to reverse and stop biodiversity loss by 2030. The road to achieving this is by countries agreeing to 23 targets identified as a part of these goals. The TSI refers to Digital Surveillance Information and is one of the agreements currently being debated upon by the countries in Colombia and deals with equitably sharing the benefits from uploading genetic data of organisms in global databases. At last, there's a famous quotation by a famous Bengali philosopher, Rabindranath Tagore, whose birth anniversary is 7 May 1861 up to 7 August 1941. Was a Bengali poet, writer, playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and a painter of the Bengali Renaissance. He reshaped Bengali literature and music as well as the Indian art with the conceptual modernism in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Author of the profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful poetry of Gitanjali in 1913, Tagore became the first non-European and the first lyricist to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Tagore's poetic songs were vivid as spiritual and mercurial, where his elegant prose and magical poetry were widely popular in the Indian subcontinent. He was fellow of the Royal Asiatic Society, referred as the Bard of the Bengal. Tagore was known by the sobriquets Gurudev, Kobi Guru, and Biswakobi. Tagore modernized Bengali art by spurning rigid classical forms and resisting linguistic structures. His novels, stories, songs, dance, dramas, and essays spoke to topics political and personal. Panjali song offerings, Gora, Fairface, and Karibari, the Home and the World. His best known works and his verse, short stories, and novels were acclaimed or panel for their lyricism, colloquialism, naturalism, and unnatural contemplation. His compositions were chosen by the two nations as the national anthems, India's Janaganamana and Bangladesh's Amar Har Bangla. The Sri Lankan national anthem was also inspired by his work. His songs, Banglar Mati Bangla Cho, has been adopted as the state anthem of West Bengal. Rabindranath Tagore is a very famous critic. He says that it is very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. Okay, thank you.